group, you have put resources together and you have started producing cooking oil and peanut butter because you are growing a lot of sunflower as well as groundnuts. You have a factory, you have a pressing machine. So you have human resource or people that are actually pressing the cooking oil. They are packaging it in bottles. They are labeling the bottles. They are sealing the bottles. You have others who are transporting it to the market. So you have human resource. These are the workers. You need human resource in your shop. Kandemba, another salesperson to run the Meatech branch, another one to run the town center one, and you elevate yourself to being the overall supervisor. Those are human resource. They are people. You need human resource in that small office. You need human resource in everything that you do. So people are the most important human resource. That is why you as an entrepreneur should first of all look after the people, respect the people, empower the people. Because without people, even if we gave you a grant of 1 million kwacha, you cannot grow your business. You need people to grow your business. You need people to manage your business. You need people to help you to run that business successfully. Well, dear learners, we are defining resources and we are giving examples of resources. The first resource is human resource, which refers to type of human of resource. The second type of resource is machinery and equipment. Machinery and equipment. These are the material resources. For a very small business, such as a small farm, usually your equipment is in the form of manual tools. The hoes, the axes, the rakes, the hose pipe, the genset, the water pump. That is the equipment that you need at that farm. That is also a resource. So resources can be in the form of that equipment. For small-scale farmers, we are talking about those tools. For bigger farmers, we are talking about machinery like tractors, okay, and other big equipment. Those are resources. For a factory, that pressing machine that women's group is using, that cooperative is using to make cooking oil, that is machinery, that is equipment. If you set up your little company, which is going to be doing laundry and dry cleaning, the hoovers that you use to clean the carpet, that is machinery. I hope you are following me, dear learners. The washing machine, that is machinery. Okay? So the vacuum cleaners, whatever it is that you are using in that business, maybe you have a car wash and you have that water gun, that is your machinery that you are using to run that business. So resources can also mean the machinery and the equipment that you are using. Materials are also a resource. For instance, in farming, you have materials that you use, such as the chemicals, okay, the fertilizers, those are chemicals, the seed, those are material resources which you are going to use for production. The third type of resource is money, which we refer to as financial resource. Money is financial resource. Now, let me talk a bit about money. Money is very important, although it is not the only important resource. As you have seen, we have talked about people, we have talked about machinery, and we have talked about money. Money, however, is the blood of the business. Without money, you cannot buy materials that are needed. You need money to pay the human resource. You need money to buy the machinery. You need money, Mr. Alex Shinjikinya, to buy the stock for your grocery. You need money. You need money to hire that transport that is going to take your groceries from Solwezi to Mufumbwe. Some of you who are listening are traders and you come to Solwezi to buy goods from that wholesale shop and you take them as far as Zambezi. You take them as far as Mwinlonga. I'm very much aware that we don't have any wholesale shops yet in some of our districts. But those are business opportunities. But for now, you are buying things from Solwezi. You are buying building materials, that's cement, from Solwezi. You put them on a truck. You need money to pay for those services. So money is the blood life of the business, and it's a very, very important human resource. Can you start a business without money? The answer is yes, you can. But as the business needs begin to grow, you need money to be in the business all the time. That's why when you formalize your business, we always ask you to open a bank account in the name of that business so that payments that relate to the company will come into that bank account and expenses related to that company will come from that bank account. And you will create a very solid bank statement so that you will be a bankable business. We'll talk about that in another lesson. But these are among the three most important resources: people, machinery and equipment, and money. Now, let us look at desired results. Achievement of your objective or your objectives as you intend. Desired results means achievement of the objectives as you have planned, as you would like, as you intend. Okay. So, what is an objective? An objective, that is to say, what you wish to achieve, is divided into the following segments. Objectives, your objective number one must be specific. When you create an objective, it must be specific, and we'll be able to give you a live example in the next slide. So your objective should be specific, meaning that it has to be clear and up to the point. So when you create an objective, as you are going to see in the next example, that objective must be very clear for everyone that you are giving that objective to understand. And it has to be up to the point. It has to be accurate. So when you are creating objectives, make them specific. Business objective that you have set for yourself. Thirdly, your objective must be achievable. This means that you must be able to fulfill that objective. That objective must be fulfillable, be able to be fulfilled. It must be achievable. It must be something that is not out of this world. Yes, challenging, but achievable. Fourthly, your objective must be realistic. Realistic, meaning it must be sensible. It must be reasonable. And you'll be able to see in the next example. Then, fifthly, your objective must be time bound, meaning that there must be a period of time by which you desire to see certain results achieved. Remember, we are looking at desired results, and desired results are achieved time bound. Of a farming project may be, let's say, for you farmers, to produce 1.5 tons of tomatoes by November 2022. Okay? That is your objective. Now, when you look at this objective is clear, it is measurable, it is challenging but realistic, and has a deadline for achievement. What do we mean by that? Let me now break it down for you so that we can have a clear understanding. Okay. To produce 1.5 tons of tomatoes by November 2022. This statement is clear. It is clear in the sense that you are able to describe what you want to do. Producing 1.5 tons of tomato by November 2022. It is not a complicated sentence. It is a clear sentence. So it is a clear objective. Number two, it is measurable. To produce 1.5 tons, meaning that you are able to measure the amount of tons of tomatoes. And you are able to measure the period of time That is from, let's say, this is March to November. That is how many months? About 9 months. So it is measurable because you can measure the quantity of tomatoes, and you can also measure the number of months in which you intend to achieve that objective. Thirdly, it is challenging. 1.5 tons of tomatoes is not an easy target, but it is achievable. It is realistic. It is achievable because in tomato production or general farming, you need good management. You need very good management. So with good management, with the right size of land where you want to cultivate the tomatoes, where you want to plant them, with the correct management in terms of the seeds, the workforce that you need, the chemicals to spray at the right time, weed management and everything, you are able to produce 1.5 tons of tomatoes. It is challenging because some people fall short because they don't spray at the right time, and where they should produce 1.5 tons, they end up producing less than 1 ton. So it is realistic. And it also depends on the capacity of the farmer. So we will talk about that in detail. But producing 1.5 tons of tomato is challenging but realistic. And it has a deadline for achievement. To produce 1.5 tons of tomatoes by November 2022. So you'll be able to measure yourself. By the end of November 2022, you get back to your drawing board and you want to see whether what you have set as an objective has been achieved within the deadline. So that is the example, a live example that we have given, where you are able to see that this objective is clear, measurable, challenging, but realistic, and has a deadline for achievement. Well, dear learners, from the explanation of management, you can see that it is the process which enables you to set and achieve your objectives through performing a number of functions such as planning. Write this down. Planning. Planning is deciding what to do in the business in some defined future. So all of us are supposed to plan. Farmers should plan. Shop owners must plan. Artisans like welders and carpenters must plan. Transporters must plan. Miners must plan. Everyone should plan. Number 2, organizing. Organizing means bringing identified resources together and deploying them to achieve desired results. Okay? Desired results. That is organizing. So you organize by bringing human resource together. You organize by bringing materials together. You organize by putting your monies together and deploying them to achieve desired results. Then there is leading in the management process. Leading, and we'll be going into detail in these things. Leading is proving or providing sound leadership to get work done accordingly. That is leading. Then we have controlling. Controlling is bringing deviations back in line with set objectives. So meaning that when you have set your objectives and things are not going according to plan, you bring in some changes, some amends, so that you can get back to the set objectives. Monitoring talks about checking to see if work is going according to plan. So as an entrepreneur, you always need to keep constant check or constantly monitoring your business. Evaluating, lastly. Evaluating is measuring the extent of compliance with standards set in the plan. Well, dear learners, we have taken you through the process of management. My colleague will take you through now in the next process of planning in detail.
Thank you so much. Planning. Example that was given of a farmer who wants to harvest 1.5 tons of tomatoes somewhere around November 2022. That farmer has set his objective. His objective is that he should be able to produce this amount of tomato by November. Okay, that is an objective that he has set. Now, having set your objective, the next thing you need to do now is to plan. How are you going to achieve this particular objective? And in trying or in preparing a way of achieving these objectives, you will ask yourself certain questions. Is the task will be. We know that in producing tomatoes, you will need, for example, to prepare your land. First, you should be able to. So, as you prepare a way or how to achieve your objectives, you look at, okay, here is my land. How am I going to prepare this land? That is the first task. Then you go into planting. After you have planted, those are tasks that you will have, actually you have to plan for. Having planted, you need to water your plant so that it grows, so that it grows and gives you the tomatoes at the end of it. That also is a task. The other task you will have to plan for there is how to fertilize your plant. When and how to fertilize your plant. Which system are you going to use? Are you going to use the use of, say, manure? Or are you going to use the type of fertilizer, that one that is sprayed to the leaves, the liquid fertilizer? That is up to you as the farmer. You need to plan for that. Where are you going to get this type of fertilizer? The seed you need to plant. What type of seed am I going to grow that will give me actually that objective, that will make me achieve that objective? So those are the tasks that you have to plan for. You should also have to plan for how you are going to harvest this. Having harvested your tomatoes, how to even transport it to the sell-off points. So that is the first question you should ask yourself in planning, and you should answer that. When you answer that, you are actually planning. Then the next one is, who will do the task? I remember that during the example there, when it was given, we were talking about who is going to do this work. You look at the resources now, the manpower, human resource. How many people are you going to involve to do this kind of job? You have those who till the land. You have those who have the know-how. Assist you now in watering and finally in harvesting your produce. The other issue you need to plan for is when this task will be done. There are times for you to achieve that objective. There is the beginning and there will be an end. So you need to plan properly your timing. When will you start preparing your land? Which month? And when are you going to plant? And depending on what type of watering you are going to get, is it that you are going to irrigate, or you will be waiting for the rain, that you should plant the rain-fed tomatoes? So there also you have to plan. If you want the rain-fed one, you have to make sure that you plan in such a way that during the rain season, or when it is about to rain, that's when you plant, so that during the rain season, your plant can grow. But now, if you are going to plant them during the dry season, you should start thinking of the issues of irrigation. So that is another task. When are you going to do this particular task? Okay. The other issue that you should put into your planning is where the task will be done. Where are you going to plant these tomatoes? Now, this is choice of an area. Where is it that you have your farm, where you have gotten the piece of land where you want to build, to plant your tomatoes? So that one should also come out in your planning session. Then there is the how the task will be done. Yes, you have the human resource in place, you have the place, you have the tools. Now you need to look at how this particular task will be done. This is the process. How are you going to do this kind of work? Okay. So in short, we are saying planning looks ahead and it does not wait to react to what happens when you do business or carry out the project. So this is actually looking ahead. You are sitting down at your table and doing the planning. You are thinking ahead. This is what I will do. And you are putting it down in written, mentioning all those items that I mentioned. You are talking of what, which means your objective. You are saying, what is it that I want to achieve? You are looking at the who. Who is it that you are going to engage to do this particular activity so that we achieve our objective? Then you will be looking at the when. When is it that we are going to do this? When do we plan? I mean, when are we going to go into action and start our farm for tomatoes? When are we going to start the plowing? Then where is it? That is the time, the place, and the how. How is it going to be done? So that is the planning. We are saying it looks ahead and it does not wait to react to what? It's not reactive actually. You have to plan in advance, prepare in advance, so that you'll be able to meet those objectives. At the planning stage, you foresee possible difficulties in future, and you put in place measures or what you will do to reduce or get rid of difficulties. This is called risk management. So in planning, as you prepare your plan, you'll be thinking in future. And as you think in future, you know that maybe you may come across difficulties. So if you ever come into across difficulties, how are you going to solve these difficulties? For example, there you are, you have planted your tomatoes. Then all of a sudden there is drought. Are you going to let your plants wither? Then you will lose. So you have to know that, okay, since there is drought, what am I going to put in place? Let me bring in irrigation. You start irrigating, which means now you are solving that problem that has come about. So now let's look at the process. I hope you are following. Let's look at the process of planning now. If doing business or supplying goods or services, you may follow these laid down steps. The first one is you know the needs of the customer. You should keep abreast of the customer changing needs. I'm sure from the time that we started this training, when we were looking at customers, we were saying you must make sure that you develop a relationship with your customers so that you should be able to know what it is that they want and what they do not want. And by so doing, you'll be able to be abreast. You'll be able to be moving together with them. So you know the needs of your customers in order to do business well in that field. The second one, you set business objectives. That is very important. Here, whatever we are discussing here, we are targeting actually the issue of objectives. When you start your business, you must have objectives. There is no way you can just go into, business without thinking of what you want to achieve. As we are seated here at the radio, we have given you the objectives already. Those 4 objectives, so that at whatever level, whatever we are doing, we should always point at our objectives. The issue is we want to achieve those objectives. So even you in your business, make sure that you set your objectives and make sure that these objectives are clearly, laid down and you are able to follow them. We have been given already a good objective, how it looks and what it should do. Sure. The third part are the assets. Assess or examine or consider opportunities and threats, both in internal and was mentioned as you are doing your planning. You also look at the internal environment, which is within your business itself. What is it that is a threat in there? In fact, in the internal, you are talking of weaknesses. You'll be looking of what is it that I'm not doing very well. Then in the external, you'll be looking at what is it that is coming in as a threat. One of the examples of the external environment, you'll be looking at those who are coming in as your competitors. How strong are your competitors? That is in the external environment. Okay, so those you should have them already thought of in your plan so that you should be able to address these as they come. So if it's a weakness, you'll be able to say, if there is such a weakness, I will do A, B, C, D in order to correct that. If it's in the external environment, how am I going to address the issue of these new competitors? You see, you put in measures which you can take in order to address those threats. Okay, coming to the fourth process, state course of action, such as decide what tasks and activities that need to be done in order to get objectives to be met. Okay, here now you are setting an action plan, a plan of action, which you should put in place, which should outline when and how you are going to achieve that set objective. You are setting a plan of action of how you are going to address any problems, how you are going to proceed towards achieving your objective. The last one is work out the cost of the course of action by estimating the required resources, such as financial, as in how much money you need in order to start. If we go back to that example, how much money are you going to use in order to buy your land, in order to prepare that land? How much money are you going to need in order to buy your seed, to buy your chemicals, and even to harvest? I know in this tomato production, there are certain things that you have to prepare. The crates for 1 point whatever tons, 1.5 tons, you need a whole lot of those crates where you are going to package your tomatoes. So that all is financial. It will call for how much money that you need to put aside in order to achieve that objective. Then you are going to look at also the human resource. How many people will you employ? How many people? And which skills are you looking for? Then you look also, you'll be talking about the materials now. What raw materials? These are the likes of the fertilizer, the raw materials themselves, the machinery that you are going to use, the equipment that you are going to use. All these come now add up to the issue of the costs of that particular activity. So you find that just planting and harvesting those 1.5 tons of tomatoes, there are lots of activities that will be there. So you have to set them down. First activity first, which is, for example, to be the preparation of land. You have gotten the land. First activity, preparation of that land. Second activity, planting. Third activity, you are looking at the watering. And the fourth activity, you look at how you are going to spray, the fertilization, until you reach the end. So there are several activities that will be laid down. And for each activity, there is a cost attached to that. Okay? That is the process of planning. I hope we have followed each other. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, dear learners, we have looked at management in detail. Secondly, we have looked at planning in detail. And I hope we are following each other. We are taking notes. In case you have missed out on something, please follow us on Facebook as well. And you'll be able to download these PowerPoint slides where you can revise. Let's look at the third process as we look at the basic principles of business management. The third process is organizing. Organizing involves doing the following. Firstly, it involves making effective use of available resources by assigning or giving tasks to those who are to do the tasks when the tasks will be done. Meaning that you as the entrepreneur has to be on top of the game. You are the one who makes available those resources. You as the entrepreneur, the business owner, the vision carrier of that business, the manager of that business, you are responsible for bringing the human resource together because you have to identify the correct human resource that can do a particular job properly according to the required standard. Okay? So you will be able to assign those tasks to the relevant human resource. I'll give an a small house, 2-bedroomed house in a good area in Solwezi. What do you need to do? You need to identify relevant resources. The first resource you're going to identify is an architect who is going to design a house plan for you. And then you're going to give the plan to a builder. The builder should be somebody who is able to interpret the plan and execute it. So he will bring the relevant human resource as well, the helpers, to help him to build the house. Okay? So when that is done, then maybe you need to bring another person to evaluate the house. So you spend 300,000 on building the house. Maybe the person evaluating the house will tell you, this house can cost 450,000 kwacha. So in organizing, you are making effective use. By effective, we are talking about accurate use, okay, of those resources. We are talking about applying the resources correctly, in the right quantities, at the right time, to receive the actual results that you need to receive. So in organizing, number one, we are making effective use of available resources, the people, the money, the machinery, the equipment. Secondly, you are setting and reviewing priorities. Priorities simply means you itemize what needs to be done and you put them in the order of importance, the order of priority. Okay? So in your small garden that you want to do, what is the first task that you need to do? What is the second task? What is the third task? So at the time of land preparation, you may not need to get the fertilizer there and then. The priority there is getting people to clear the land, prepare it, and then you pay them for that task. The second task may be to plant. The third task may be to fertilize and so forth. So you are setting and reviewing priorities. Thirdly, you are making decisions and taking responsibility for them. It is very important as a manager, as an entrepreneur, to make decisions. Business is about decision making. Taking risks is about decision making. But your risks must be calculated. You set out the plan, you execute the plan, and where the plan is not going well, you take responsibility by, first of all, accepting that you are the one who is responsible, and therefore things are not going well, and you are the one who should correct them. So you take corrective measures yourself so that you can execute the project according to plan. Okay, so from the explanation made above, you will understand that the process of organizing means that you, the leader or the manager, should decide on the activities which are required to achieve set objectives. And then you allocate responsibilities or duties for the achievement of the plans. Okay. You should also coordinate the activities and responsibilities into meaningful order, meaning that you should ensure that there is harmony in working relationships so that the various resources can efficiently and effectively be deployed for the achievement of desired results. That would mean people working together as a team. So we are saying, in the process of you as a manager organizing, you are going to start making decisions. You need, as the leader, to make sound decisions. Secondly, after you have made the decision as to what you need to do, you need to assign people to do that work. When you have assigned people to do that work, you need to supervise them and monitor to make sure that they are doing the right thing. But as a leader, when you are employing more than one person, it is very important that you have certain people skills by ensuring that there is harmony in the work environment. Because when there is no harmony in the work environment, your resources, such as materials that you spend a lot of money on, such as the money itself, will not be utilized properly, and you are likely to have losses. So bring about a good environment where there are good working relationships so that the various resources are going to be used efficiently or in the right quantities. They are going to be used properly. They are going to be used according to your plans, and they are going to produce the desired results. That was the process of organizing.
Thank you so much. Now let's look at leading. You, as an entrepreneur, the owner of that business, you will be the leader. Why are you the leader? Because you are the vision carrier. The vision is yours, and you would want to achieve that vision. So now, as a leader, we are saying you will need to achieve results through other people, meaning you will lead the other people towards achieving your objectives. You will lead other people towards achieving your results. Now, let's look at the leading process. You as a leader or a manager should decide, in consultation, of course, with all concerned, the direction that others will follow. You should state clearly the vision. So here we are saying you must share this vision with whoever is going to participate in the process of ensuring that your vision is achieved. Who are these people? The people that you are going to work with, the people that you are going to employ. They must know the vision. They must know what you want to achieve. So these are the people that you are going to share this vision with clearly. Note that the process may be influenced by your type of leadership. Several leadership styles exist, which include the following. There is a charismatic leader. Number one is charismatic leader. The type of leader who influences others by the strength of his or her personality. Such leaders are exceptional, and they are very few. They depend on traits and training, and training only sharpens their leadership qualities. So these are actually born leaders. Okay, they have traits, they are born leaders. They are very few. Okay, when they go for trainings, it's just to sharpen their skills, leadership skills. So that is the first type of a leader. The second type of leadership or a leader is where his or her position is assured by both inheritance, such as tribal chiefs and headmen or women. This type of leadership is common in small family businesses. This is the traditional type of leader. Okay, I think it's self-explanatory. It's very common in family businesses. You know that, okay, my first son is the one who actually will take over as a leader. So we are not looking at the capability there. They have just looked at, okay, because he's number 2 in the line of, in the chain of command, so he takes over as a leader. The third type of leaders are situational leaders. This type of a leader has influence when found in the right place at the right time. He or she is a type of leader who leads for a short period of time and may not be useful in business sustenance. This type of leader is one who is going to, become a leader because of a situation. For example, the example that we have of a farmer, okay? Amongst those workers who are there, you may have a situational leader here who is going to say, okay, the boss is not there, but it has not rained for 2-3 days. What we should do, him will organize others there and then and say, okay, let's get water, let's water. That one is a situational leader, okay? He will react according to the situation that prevails, okay? Then we have an appointed leader. Appointed leaders have influence, and their influence comes from the position that they hold in the enterprise. The person may hold the position because he or she has been in the organization for a long time and not because of good work. This happens in many places, or even at your farm. You have those people who have been working with you for a long time. Those are the first people that you may choose to actually stand in for you. So you have appointed them as a leader just because they have been around, they know the history of your enterprise, and they are able at least to articulate certain issues there. It's not that, okay, they are very good workers. No, it's because they have been around there and they have the history of that particular enterprise. The other one, we have the functional leader. This type of a leader earns her position because of what she does. Good performance. The performers, that is a functional leader. Somebody who performs, who does work accordingly. Those are the leaders. This is the type of a leader that is commonly required in business. A functional leader is the one that you need in your business, especially in which one is employed and paid for the job. So the leader that you are going to employ, make sure that he is a functional leader. Having looked at the type of leaders, we have actually heard that this leader actually will be able to do work using other people, okay? So now you as an entrepreneur, as the head, the owner of that business, you will be required to carry out control measures. So let's look at controlling. Controlling actually involves checking how well the objectives are being met and taking corrective measures to improve performance. So in controlling here, you'll be looking at what has been planned. What is in the plan? In the plan, we said you will set out activities that you will take at a particular time. Now, for you to do the controlling, you will be actually looking at what has been planned and what is actual, the performance. You'll be looking at what have we done so far, then relate it to what was planned, so that if you find that you have gone out of the way, it's either you have not followed what was planned, you should be able to sit down and say, well, no, let's control, let's come back to line. Because this plan, the plan itself is a roadmap, we said. It states what you are supposed to do at a particular time. Now, when you find yourself out of line, you should be able to address that and bring them back to line. So in this process of controlling, the actual performance is compared to what was planned in order to determine whether the performance has, one, has exceeded or it's above what you planned, or it is matching. Is it within the plan, or it has fallen short? Is it less than what we planned? So those are the three issues that you'll be looking at. Of the set objectives, what was planned, the result of this process is the measure of achievement. And here there is actually monitoring and evaluating are done at this same stage. You monitor and evaluate. Monitor, see what is happening. Is it according to plan? If it's not, then look for solutions to bring it back to plan. Here we are saying set objectives are looked at and examined. You look at your objectives. Then you question, are they the right objectives or not? Then you are going to replan. If you find that maybe you have fallen short of the objectives, you should be able to come back and replan so that you bring back your process to the original plan. Okay? So simply here, we are saying controlling is looking at what was planned, what we are doing. Are we walking in the right direction? If we are not following the plan, then we need to come down. First, find the reason why you went off target. Why? What happened? Why did we not follow the right, what we planned? Then you will be able to find solutions to that. Now, maybe we can go to the summary now. Thank you.
Thank you, dear learners. We have looked at the main body of today's lesson. We have looked at management in detail, planning in detail, organizing, leading, and controlling. The time is 9:30, and we are now opening the phone lines. Send us a missed call to 0978 383 141. 0978 383 141, and we're going to phone you back. We are going to endeavor to answer your questions for the benefit of everyone. So please examine your notes, and where you need clarity, we'll be glad to share with you further on that aspect that you want us to clarify. So as we wait for your phone calls, okay, I can see there is a call coming through, and I'm going to call back. I can see Mr. Alex Shindikinya is calling, and we are going to call him back just now so that we can take his question. Good morning, my brother. I know that I know you, but for the sake of everyone who doesn't know you, please tell them your full names and where you're calling us from.
Yes, I'm Alex Shindikinya calling from Solomon Main Market.
Okay, please, your question.
Yes, I have a question. The first question, I want clarification on the types of leaders. how many tasks of weekends do we have? And the second question, it is on the workers when we have a worker and someone who is lower. In terms of salary, I know that the senior worker can have a good salary than the one who is lower. Is it going to be a confidential or it can be open to every worker to know the salary of one salary? That's my question.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for calling, my brother. And we are going to endeavor to answer those questions. Okay. Let me answer the first question. And my colleague is going to answer the second question. The first question by my brother, Mr. Shinjikinya, is that he wants clarity on the types of leaders. The types of leaders are as follows. Number one, we have the charismatic leader. A leader who is naturally charismatic, aggressive, a born leader, a type of leader who is able to naturally influence others by his natural strength and personality. So number one, charismatic. Number two, born with that kind of inheritance, like tribal chiefs and headmen. And we said this type of leadership can also be seen in very small family businesses, the traditional leadership style. Number three, we have the situational leader. This is the kind of leader who rises according to the occasion. So for instance, maybe in a workplace, a problem comes up, the supervisor is not there, and one of the workers says, let's do something about this quickly. That is a leader who rises to the occasion and is able to influence others. The fourth type of leader is the appointed leader, a leader that has been appointed to hold a certain position in that enterprise because they qualify, because they are skilled, because they know what they need to do and they have been performing well. So an appointed leader is a good performer. Then lastly, we have a functional leader. This leader earns their position because of good performance. Okay, so the appointed leader is appointed, okay, and given that position. The functional leader actually deserves that position because of their exceptional performance. I hope that that has been clarified. My colleague will answer the other question, which, okay. The second question is that, you know, maybe you have workers in your workplace. Maybe you have more than two workers. You have some who are senior, maybe a senior person and a junior person. And obviously, their salaries may be different. Now, are those salaries supposed to be an open secret or they should be confidential? That is the question, sir. Maybe you can answer.
Thank you so much. Indeed, that is a very good question. Now, it depends on the policy of your organization. In most places, actually, the salaries of somebody is confidential, meaning the senior person, you are not going to publicize how much you are going to give them, like put them on a notice board to say, Kananga gets this amount of money because he's senior and the junior gets this amount of money. No. Okay. Why do I say that? It's because at the time you are employing these people, you go into a contract. And the contract is between one person and the other. A contract is not an open secret. No. It's between me and the contractee. Okay. We agreed on how much I should pay this person. It's an agreement, and it's take it or leave it. She could take it or she could not take it. Okay. So there, Mr. Shinji Kenya, I feel the best way is that you should not publicize these salaries, because these are contracts that you have gone into. I hope I have answered you.
Thank you very much. The lines are open. Please send us a missed call, 0978 383 141. And we are going to endeavor to call you back and answer your questions. Now, as we are concluding, as we wait for your calls, let us now summarize what we have been discussing. In summary, we want to say that when planning for your business, remember the following points. Firstly, you need to set objectives. What are these objectives? Objectives are simply what you want to achieve. There are objectives in every type of business. And we deal with different kinds of businesses under this program. We have some of you who are traders, like my friend, Mr. Alex Shinji Kenya. He has a grocery shop. There are set objectives for that grocery shop. These objectives must be SMART. Remember, we said SMART, meaning standing for simple. The S stands for simple. Okay. The M stands for measurable. They have to be attainable. They have to be realistic. They have to be time bound. Okay. So these should be challenging, yet achievable. They must be challenging, but they must be achievable. So we are saying, when you are planning your business, the first thing you need to do, and I'm also talking to those of you who are in cooperatives, you are in small businesses, and perhaps you want to benefit from CDF. The government is bringing money closer to the people. You need to first of all set your objectives. As you apply for the grant, as you apply for the loan, that is going to be a revolving fund. Set business objectives so that when you write that proposal, the committee that is going to sit and look at that proposal will be able to see how smart your objectives are, how measurable they are in terms of the money that you're going to need, how much you're going to make, the quantities of the product that you're going to maybe manufacture or produce. If it is in maybe a poultry business, it has to be very measurable. It has to be realistic. It has to be time bound. It has to be achievable. They'll be looking at those things before they can actually say this project qualifies for funding. Give us a call. You can send us a missed call. The lines are still open. 0978 383 141. We're going to call you back and we're going to answer your questions. The second thing you do in your planning is that Your plan should be easy to understand. Remember, you are writing the plan, and this plan needs to be shared with other stakeholders. Stakeholder number one may be your co-workers, your management team, your workers. Those are internal stakeholders. When you plan, the plan must be readable and interpretable by anyone. You may take the plan to the bank. You may take so your plan must be well itemized. Your summary in that plan, the executive summary, there are different formats. Of one day we are going to have the topic later this year on elements of a business plan, and also how to write a business plan. And we'll be able to take you step in the format of the summary, the main body, and what is composed in the main body, the financial plan, and all those things. They must be easy to understand. Okay. Send us a missed call. The lines are still open and we'll be closing the lines soon. Please take advantage of the few remaining minutes. The number to dial is 0978 383 141. When planning for your business, the third thing to consider is that the plan should be flexible. Because when you do a plan and it is not working as you intended it to work, maybe because of changes in the environment, your plan may be changed. It may be changed when it is found that it is not achieving the right results or the situation has changed. Your plan must change. So, for example, we used to conduct business development workshops in the past 2 years, after that is 2 years ago, in a classroom arrangement. But when COVID came in, we needed to change the plan with the sponsors, Kansanshi Mining PLC, and we opted to go on radio and online. That is why now we are able to come on radio and we are able to teach, via our Facebook page and also our YouTube channel. Your plan should be flexible. Okay, there's another caller. Okay, we are trying to call back this caller. They are not picking. We will try to call them again and see if they can answer. Okay, as we are still waiting for more callers. I was talking about the third thing, which is about your plan being flexible. Your plan should be changeable. So your plans in agriculture should change. Agriculture involves crop farming, poultry farming, animal farming, and also fish farming. The situation may change due to drought. Your situation may change due to diseases. And you should be able to put in measures within that plan when the situation changes so that you can achieve the same results. The fourth thing when planning that you need to consider is that your plan should look into the future. Every plan is in the future. When you go to the bank may actually, if you want to maybe borrow, the bank may actually tell you to write a business plan. Now, a business plan is something that is future bound, where you are going to even indicate your projected cash flows. So there is a projected cash flow statement that you need to show, okay? It is going to show perhaps how much money you need to put in, how much will your sales be, maybe on a monthly basis, the taxes you're going to pay, the salaries that you're going to pay, the rentals maybe that you're going to pay, your utilities like water, electricity, transportation, and everything. It shows your future projected profits and loss, so that when the bank looks at that, they will be able to see a well thought out, viable business which they can fund. So your plan must be in the future. There is a question. Someone sent a text. Okay, someone is asking us to whether we can help them write a business plan. The answer is we actually guide. We have a lesson that we conduct on how to write a business plan and elements of a business plan. But if someone wants a business plan written for them, I want to state that we as consultants are like architects. We don't actually write the plan for you, but we can help you to assemble a good plan that is going to be bankable. What that means is we interview you, the ideas come from you, the vision is yours, the budget is yours, the type of business that you want to do is yours. But if you want to put it in a bankable format, we'll be able to help you to assemble that after you have provided certain information. We are consultants, and there may be a small fee attached to that, of course, depending on the complexity of that business plan. But we are trying as much as possible as trainers to keep the costs of our learners very low. So that's why we are encouraging our learners to affiliate with the chamber. I'm also the president of the chamber. And this year we have a very strong program that we want to use to empower the local small businesses in the province. You are a cooperative, you are a small business owner, maybe you have a business name, you are a youth club, a women's group, affiliate with the chamber. The chamber has resources, human resource, that we can bring together to help you write these plans professionally. There will be grants that will be opened this year through some of our partners. When that time comes, I'll be able to announce on this program. Grant funding for agriculture. There will be grant funding for climate funds. We'll be able to explain in detail where you can take advantage of greening your business, greening your farm. And yes, we can help you to write those business plans through the Chamber of Commerce. At Fortune World as consultants, we'll be able to guide you. And we intend to see to it that we help as many people as possible in the province so that they can access funding. Another question from Mr. Alex Sinchikinya is that, is it true that according to the Zambian labor laws, if you work for someone more than 6 months, he or she must be a permanent worker? I'll throw that question to my colleague to answer that.
Thank you so much. Indeed, according to labor laws, Mr. Shinjikinya, the state actually tries by all means to discourage casualization. So if you work for somebody for more than 6 months, you are supposed to be given a permanent contract. Okay. He should be able to give you a permanent contract. But now what we are seeing now is that, these employers are trying to go around that. So which means when you are about to clock 6 months, they will terminate you and engage you again afresh after maybe 2-3 months. That is wrong. Okay. So according to the labor laws, yes, after 6 months, you should be considered as a permanent worker because you have concluded your probationary period. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So as we summarize in the remaining few minutes, we have 4 minutes to go. We have said that your plan should look into the future. Your plan should also be time-based. Any plan should have a time frame. 1-year plan, 5-year plan, and there are different types of plans. There are what we call strategic plans. Mostly strategic plans are for 5 years. Business plans can be for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, depending on the size and the type of business. Your plan should have a time frame. Your plan should also include costs and returns, as I've already spoken. The costs that will be involved in that business plan, the risks that are there in that business, what are the limitations that are weighed against benefits, what are the possible mitigation measures should that business undergo that risk. So for instance, if you're getting a loan to cultivate or you want to plant cabbages in May, someone wants to give you, you want to get a loan of, let's say, 30,000 kwacha to plant cabbages. What are you going to do when the rains go? Okay? So maybe the rains may go early. You must have plan B on how you are going to water them. What are you going to do in terms of the risk of diseases? There will be chemicals on standby. You can also say you have engaged somebody with 5 years experience in vegetable production, and they are very able to make sure that risks are mitigated. The other thing to note is that managers or leaders should organize the effort and actions to be done. You are the entrepreneur, you are the vision carrier. You are the one responsible for business growth. If your business is not growing, you are the one who is responsible. Get back to your drawing board. Find out why your business has plateaued for 10 years. Put in measures that will enable your business to grow. There should also be adequate controls monitoring the progress of the business or the project. Every business needs supervision. So even when you engage those managers to run your farm, yes, they are qualified. Yes, you have taught them the vision. You still need to oversee the aspect of monitoring progress so that the project is actually a great success. Okay, I can see that some texts are still coming through. Let me see if we can take one. I'm Benneth Edwin Kalota. When was entrepreneurship introduced in Zambia? Well, my friend, I think entrepreneurship has been there for quite a long time. And I know you are a new entrant. Keep following our trainings, and I'm sure you will be very much enlightened. Another question is, what if I work somewhere where I want to start a business? Am I going to be accepted? Well, some employers have got a policy where they want to empower their workers. The most important thing is when you are working for someone, you must be very honest. Don't get their resources to start your business. If you want to start a side business, tell your boss, be very open. My workers at the farm do that. They'll ask for fertilizer. A fertilizer loan I would give them, and they'll tell you they've got a small garden, and we encourage them so that we can win them off when they become successful and we can employ fresh people. Okay. So in planning, we said there should be adequate controls. And lastly, the process of planning is continuous and ongoing. So you can keep on modifying your plan because times keep changing. The cost of doing business keeps increasing. So you keep changing your financial plan, you keep changing your targets, and that is what is going to make your business to continue running. Well, dear learners, we have exhausted everything for today, and the time is 10 hours. We have managed time very well, sir, my colleague.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Let me thank the sponsor once again, Kansanshi Mining PLC, for this very important training program. Please encourage people in the province to tune in. Everyone, especially in this time of CDF, you need this knowledge. Let also the councils encourage people to tune in. For that money to be paid back, the president of the country would like that money, those projects to succeed. Let's train the people so that that is going to be a successful revolving fund. Let me thank Beats FM, our partners, once again for bringing us on air. Until we meet again, it is goodbye and God bless all of you.